The Rockland County ghost inhabits the New York home of the late Danton Walker, a well-known newspaperman. In 1951, it was reported that the present occupant, Mr. Walker, because of ghost-like manifestations, was forced to leave the house and build a studio at the other end of the estate, where he lived unmolested. A medium was used to contact a spirit, who was identified as Andreas. A rescue circle was organized on November 22, 1952, and successfully concluded the case, putting the disturbed soul to rest, allowing Mr. Walker to return to the main house without further fear of manifestations. Before speaking to the strange phenomena that have been observed in the house, it is thought that it will be necessary to describe the house somewhat, as the nature of the building itself has a great deal to do with the occurrences. Mr. Walker's house is a fine example of colonial architecture, of the kind that was built in the country during the second half of the 18th century. When the house was bought by Mr. Walker in the spring of 1942, it was in a dismal state of repair, but over 2 years and much money, the house was nicely restored. During this time, Mr. Walker reported receiving distinct impressions of the spirit of a revolutionary soldier being in the house when he moved in. In 1944, the manifestations started in earnest, with both audible and visual occurrences. That year, during an afternoon when he was resting in the front room downstairs, he was roused by a violent summons to the door, which a heavy iron knocker was used. He went to the door, and no one was there. The butler also made mention that the spirit or spirits and was annoyed by noise and footsteps. Though Mr. Walker, his butler, and guests never saw or fancied they saw any ghostly figures, the manifestations did not restrict themselves to audible phenomena. Dents in silverware and broken pieces of glass were regular occurrences, as well as the sensation of being slapped in the face, almost poltergeist-like. When Walker was kidded about the house being haunted, his reply was, "Would I have spent so much time and money restoring the house and built another house to live in if there wasn't a valid reason?" The medium employed reported that the spirit was a young person, tired and hurt in life, and for many years before his passing, he was not of sound mind and was crippled physically, probably as a result of being a soldier, in fact a mercenary soldier. It would appear that this spirit is from time to time in a coma. He wakes, dreams and loses himself, and is not always aware of people. The spirit is indeed in a confused state and is lost between two planes of being. After the séance, it was mentioned that the atmosphere throughout the house was much more relaxed, and it is hoped that this spirit has moved to the other side. The end.